think if you've only seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think that's okay. If you've only seen Grand Budapest Hotel, I also think that's okay. If you've only seen Moonrise Kingdom,
you're if that's the only one you watch, we understand.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Pointless Listeners. Wow. Okay, can we start over?
Nope, I'm keeping that in. Just go, and I'll cut it out.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello.
I know you said you're gonna cut it, but I was definitely thinking faster than I was talking, because I was like, oh, what's a fun pun to make, because right now it's really stormy for the both of us as we're recording this, and I was like, how do I do rain and like funny joke? So then I just like jumbled rain and discourse into like one word, and I was like, that's not a joke, that's just me being tongue-tied.
You made your own cacophony of thunder from your mouth.
I am one with the storm.
Can you tell I've been reading old books again?
That's totally okay, because this is the movie that we watched for this week to wrap up the Wes Anderson month. I looked up the inspiration, the author that he took inspiration from, and they lived from 81 to 42. So is the author you're reading right now in that same pocket of time?
It's Agatha Christie, so...
Probably.
Yeah, because I think all her books take place... I shouldn't say all her books, but I think Poirot takes place normally between World War I and World War II?
Yeah, she was alive from 1890 to 1976. So yeah, all in the same little pocket of time.
Yeah, it is a very weird time to like read books, because like when we think like 1920s and older, at least for me, I think of like steamboats and engines and like where there's all these like advancements in technology. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh yeah, we'll just call them up on the phone, or we'll do all this, and I'm just like, when was the phone invented? And they have cars. Like,
she was also really rich. Let's not forget that. So if the technology's there, she did have access to it sooner than most.
And it's like with Hercule Poirot, like all of them are very rich, like for the time, murder mystery things. So
it does say that Bell was awarded the French Volta Prize for his invention, and with money founding the company in 1880. And Bell himself said that the telephone was invented in Canada but made in the United States. So yeah, 1880.
USA. So, but yeah, it's so in this movie there's a part where they mention strychnine, and I'm like, I know exactly what that is.
I've been reading about this.
I'm like, that is like the big poison that is like the cause for maybe a good chunk of the deaths. So it's tasteless, odorless, and it kills you really fast.
Yeah, because at least I mean, I guess it's not a spoiler for the movie. I guess it's kind of like, I don't know. It's again, we have come upon a Wes Anderson where the plot is shrug.
Yeah.
But so if you listen to last episode, you will know that D-Payne and I did not like Moonrise Kingdom at all. Mm-hmm. I did message D-Payne after I finished the movie that I was like, this one I liked.
Yeah, I responded with, I don't know if Wes Anderson is a director I enjoy. I will say I did enjoy Grand Budapest Hotel. Mm-hmm. I thought the story was fun, and everything, but there was like editing stuff that almost felt like it was like it should have been in Fantastic Mr. Fox, like the sled scene.
Yeah, there's the sled, and then there's the, I know there's a specific name for it, for the style of, I guess, elevator? Like, outdoor elevator. Oh, yeah. Like, it's not a trolley, but it's specifically designed for going up mountains, and that's why it's shaped like it is. I know they put the word in there.
I'm blanking on the name, but I know what it is.
Yeah, basically for any, like, audio listeners, imagine like, it looks like a chunk of a staircase, and then it goes up a track that's diagonally up. So, like, it's shaped like that because it's meant to go up, and the Grand Budapest Hotel is, like, secluded in the mountains. So a lot of their interaction with, like, the city, you have to go through this. So, yeah, so that one definitely has, like, claymation-y energy. Also, anytime they were on rooftops.
Yeah. It's we see it in Moonrise Kingdom as well. Like, I can't remember if it's in the Royal Tenenbaums, but, like, any actiony scene is this, like, weird, like, unrealistic sped up thing where I only remember him as the Hulk, but I can't remember his name.
Edward Norton.
Yeah, I'm like, I just saw his name on the list on the wiki. Yeah, Edward Norton, like, when he jumps over the flood river, it's just like, choop, and I'm like, man, that was weird. But no, I really did enjoy, like, the Grand Budapest Hotel just felt like, okay, let's just sit back and relax. But I don't know. I think with Wes Anderson, I think it would have been interesting, and I don't know if Wes Anderson has a movie that he directs that he didn't write.
Or at least contribute to the story for.
Yeah. Because like, in one sense, like, I understand, like, hey, you want to be part of the project and make sure you understand it and everything. But I'm like, it just feels like, at least his stories, at least for me, I'm like, it feels like a lot left wanting. Like, I want more. And by more, I mean, like, I want more of a mystery and not a clear-cut, clean answer.
Right.
I also think this is, which I know, like, this is Anderson's style, but I'm like, with this movie, I'm like, hey, I'm getting annoyed with how lined up and symmetrical and parallel, and I'm like, I'm done with it. But
this one feels a lot less excessive than Moonrise Kingdom. Like, Moonrise Kingdom definitely felt like the first half hour, I was like, I get it, like, you can pull it off. This one felt at least a little bit more alive and a little bit less, like, perfect in that sense. But I did look through all of his credited filmography, and he is credited with every screenplay for every movie he's directed.
Which, like, hey, good for him. Like, but yeah, it was, I don't know. It was just one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know if it was just, like, if we watched this the way that we watch, like, Akira Kurosawa, like, if it was, like, one a week rather than, like, for you guys watching or listening to this, it came out over a month. For us, it was, like, 2 weeks just due to scheduling, if not shorter, of watching all the Wes Anderson movies. And
yeah, but I mean, like, we did squeeze in Kurosawa, and we didn't, like, we just liked it, right?
Yeah.
And we've done it in the past, like, for Halloween movies. We got fatigued, but we still liked a lot of the good Halloween movies and would still rewatch them. So I think it comes down to, I think if you've seen a Wes Anderson, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead. I was going to say, because Kurosawa, even though you can tell it's a Kurosawa film, it does feel like he's trying something different each movie that we watched.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak to, I know we had the listener let us know that there is kind of like it was originally not intended as a sequel, but became a sequel to Yojimbo, because I think it was inspired by another written work, and they were like, oh, let's just, like, make it Yojimbo sequel. So I can't speak to, like, those two per se, but, like, your favorite movie that we've watched this year is completely different than his other movies that people know him for.
Yeah.
Ikiru, like, that one, like, I think I kind of said it reminds me of, like, things like Death of the Salesman, and more of, like, a really close-in look of mortality and, like, character discussion. And then you have Seven Samurai, where you're like, this is a really long setup. Well, that's a cool fight. This is a really long setup. Like,
yeah.
So, even though we watched a lot of those pretty close, like, they at least felt really unique. Whereas, yeah, I think if you've only seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think that's okay. If you've only seen Grand Budapest Hotel, I also think that's okay. If you've only seen Moonrise Kingdom,
you're if that's the only one you watch, we understand. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like I know that from things I've read, like it feels like Wes Anderson is a director that you really like or not like so much. I feel like I've seen that there's a few people that I feel I don't think I'm on an extreme where I'm like I hate this guy because like minus Moonrise Kingdom, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Grand Budapest Hotel, and Royal Tenenbaums like all have elements in it that I think are enjoyable and are good. You know, and even for like some part, like the main focus of Moonrise Kingdom, I did not like, and but there's still like parts of that movie that I think were still enjoyable once we get past like the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that there are probably some things in Moonrise Kingdom that could be important to people, but I also still stand by you. You can watch more compelling stories. Oh, yeah. Like, I think that's the other thing with Wes Anderson. When it's his own writing, like even Royal Tenenbaums, I got the feeling where I was like, I've read stories in a similar vein that made me feel things. This one, I just was confused. Because, like, Royal Tenenbaums and Moonrise Kingdom, the problem I had with both of them, I was like, what are we telling young women? Right? Like, in Royal Tenenbaums, we tell you that, I guess it's a bit of a spoiler, but we tell you that love is love no matter what, even if it harms you. And then Moonrise Kingdom almost has that kind of similar vein of, isn't it romantic? You went through all of this and then nothing changed. Like, your life went back to exactly, I don't know. You can call me a hater. But before we get into a bunch of other movies, do you want to perhaps roll some dice so we can start yapping about the movie we actually did watch this week?
Yeah. We are going to roll D12s. If you heard this before, you're going to hear it again. Prepare. So we're rolling a D12 because there's 12 directors for this movie. Whoever rolls the highest will give a short synopsis of the film, and then the other will ask some very pointed questions written by our one and only Hoppocalypse.
No spoilers in here, but we will warn you when it is time for Spoiler Town.
Mm-hmm. Oh, before we do this, do we want to let them know what we're doing next week?
Oh, yeah, in case you have to leave for Spoiler Town.
Yeah, I can't remember when we ever... Like, I know it's just before Spoiler Town. I just never remember when.
It never hurts. And we usually end up repeating it at the end anyway, in case people listen through and all that. But yeah, so next month we are starting oh my gosh. I know how to say it. I was thinking of What We Do in the Shadows. Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
So this is probably, to be a little nostalgic, I think the first movie we're watching is the first time I realized that, like, I respect movies. I think I saw that movie when I was a young teenager, and I sat there and I went, movies make me feel things, and I don't know if I like them, but wow, movie. You know, like...
Yeah. I remember... We're watching Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched Pan's Labyrinth for the first time, because it was with a bunch of, like, it was, like, me and my brothers, and then my brother's friends were over, and they were very loud, and, like, just, it was not, like, the best way of watching it, because they're all like, bah! And just like, look at this guy, he's got eyes on his hands, and it's just, like, okie dokes. But then I remember watching it again a second time, and I'm like, ooh, this is good.
Yeah, I think at the time... we had, like, whatever cable would let you have access to one of those, like, movie streaming channels. And I don't think I watched it from the beginning. I think I watched it from, like, I missed the first, like, quarter of it. So then I watched it, and they were like, we were playing it, and I was like, I'm staying up till 3 a.m. to, like, watch the beginning and rewatch the whole movie so I understand what's happening. I do kind of miss those days, because I feel like I discovered a lot of movies that, like, Pan's Labyrinth, I wasn't sure, did it have a really big Western release? I feel like at the time,
remember.
translated films were more for like film students and not necessarily like.
Let's find out.
Look at us
Pan's
being.
Labyrinth come out. It came out in 2006. Yeah, because I think I watched this. Because I remember hearing people talk about it, and I bought it on Blu-ray. And the thing is, I don't remember when I bought it. Like, I know it wasn't 2006, so it had to be like.
It did have a big box office. It says it made 83 million euros in the box office. So yeah, I imagine it had a pretty decent release then.
But we'll get into that when
it's time.
Yeah.
For now, dice rolling. I rolled my dice before we started to get into this. How about you?
I didn't, but now I did. I rolled a 9. I had to like read it multiple
Where the
times.
dot was, or the
yeah,
line.
The beauty mark.
Beauty mark. I rolled a 10, so it's me again this week.
What the dome?
All right, so let me burp a little bit because I'm drinking tea and I like quickly ate my dinner so that I don't burp loudly for the audio listeners. Okay.
Do it.
No, it's not that kind of podcast. So yeah, as far as Grand Budapest Hotel, basically we follow a reflection of an author who was famous for a novel. It's a story within a story within a story. So we have a famous author who became famous off of a novel, and he begins to explain that a good writer has people bring stories to him. And he's telling the story about how he got the story of the Grand Budapest Hotel. And then after that introduction, we're dropped in as viewers as he kind of gets told this set of memories from the current owner at the time of the Grand Budapest Hotel. Sorry, again, it's a story within a story within a story within a story. But once you get like into the story, then it turns into a bit of a mystery hijinks relating to rich people during Grand Budapest Hotel's like peak. I think that's, yeah. I tried to be eloquent, then I remembered how many like layers I have to peel back like an onion, and I was just like, it's a mystery hijinks at the core of it.
Here, we can be eloquent in this. If this was the only film that you have watched by this director, would you watch the rest of their Filmlopedia?
Eloquent.
I don't even think that last word I said is a real word. I was trying to think of what they...
Like catalog or something else fancy.
Well, you wrote catalog. I was trying to think of...
repertoire?
Yeah, I can't remember. Filmography. That was what I was trying to say, but I don't even remember what came out of my mouth.
Filmopedia.
Yeah.
That's probably a website, yeah.
I'm not going to look it up.
But personally, I think this was the first Wes Anderson I had watched, so that's why I was like, yeah, let's watch Wes Anderson. So yes, if this is the only movie I'd seen, I would watch the rest of his catalog. How about you?
No, I'm just joking.
I mean, we said no before.
Yeah, no, I would. This was a fun movie. You know what? This movie feels like, excuse me, a good airplane movie where you just put it on in the airplane and just kind of, you're just going for the ride and you're like, hey, I don't really need to pay a lot of attention to what is happening here.
Yeah, you don't need to remember every character. You don't need to remember every, like, twist. But the only downside to it being an airplane movie is it's short. It's, 100 minutes, I think?
I don't remember. Yeah, it's exactly 100 minutes according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think I looked it up when I sat down to watch it because I think it was Monday night. I was like, oh, it's like 9 p.m. Do I have time? And I looked up the runtime. I was like, oh, I have time. I can finish this movie tonight. So yeah, but yeah, yeah.
Hey.
I would watch his other movies.
How much did you root for the characters?
No. Okay, I rooted for Zero. I think Zero was a pretty endearing character, and it was an easy character for you to kind of, like, see yourself in. The rest of them, like, I think Agatha is also an easy one for you to empathize with, but I was a little like, it felt like that he didn't really give Agatha a chance to be a character. Like, she had moments. I was like, oh, this is going to be a strong female lead. And he goes, and then that was the end of her story. I was like, oh, that's it. I won't spoil it. But yeah, other than those two and them as a couple, everybody else, I was kind of just like, I really don't like you, and I understand I'm not supposed to like you, but Wes Anderson's making me just not even think you're a real person anymore. Like, the antagonists in the story, they were just so evil that I was like, they're not real people. I have no, like, stakes.
Yeah.
You.
I would agree. I like rooting for Zero. I didn't root for them because they're not really like given a lot of like significance. But Jeff Goldblum's character, I'm just like, man, I hope.
He's trying.
And it's like, I should have realized someone with like a hint of moral standing. And then he gone. Spoilers, but I don't care. Yeah. So, what grade would you give the plot?
I mean, like you said, it's a good airplane movie. There's like, again, like we said of other Wes Andersons, a lot of the characters and things are very, like, he's the good guy, he's the bad guy, and there's not a ton more. I do wish that he kind of emphasized a little bit more about like the discussions of the time period, because they do like little like 5 minutes of, hey, they're being racist, and I was like, okay, are we gonna like investigate it? And then he just goes, and that's all, and I go, oh, okay. So I guess overall, when it comes to a plot, I think I kind of said this for some of the other movies. It has a beginning, middle, end, and it wraps everything up. So technically, it's at least a C. Maybe I'll give this one C plus B minus.
Yeah.
Fun ride, but not like compelling in any kind of way.
I feel like I would agree with you with the plot. But I feel like with Wes Anderson story, like the story is like a vehicle, and what we're really, I feel like what I hear for everyone that likes Wes Anderson films, and this is a generalization, but it feels more like, hey, we like the visuals that are being tied to this movie. And just it feels almost like painting-esque and like theater with how transitions happening, the color palettes, the way the music accompanies everything. So where I feel like the story isn't the strongest as like with some of the other directors that we have seen, I feel like Wes Anderson is easily the quickest to notice their directorial like visual style.
Like you said, throughout this series, we've been looking up notable things about different directors, and just his eye for like exact scenes is very spot on for him. As I think if I walked past a room now and I just looked at the screen and I saw kind of like fuzzy, kind of like sepia tone color on it and symmetry, I'd be like, oh, you watching a Wes Anderson? Even if I had never seen the movie before. They're like, those are like the three things I could look at it and go, that's either Wes Anderson or a copycat.
Yeah, because I think if I remember correctly, during this time when, like, at least not all, but I think the big chunk of the movies that we were watching, a lot of the movies that were coming out were doing gritty remakes, a lot darker color tones. Not all, but that seemed to be the big thing.
We were coming out of a lot of these movies would have been getting written and directed shortly after the 2008 recession, right?
Let's see, Lord of the Rings.
And Pirates of the Caribbean would also be in this kind of...
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember when Lord of the Rings... Okay, Lord of the Rings came out 2001, 2, 3, which is kind of the earlier chunks. Pirates, the Caribbean. Oh my goodness.
The first one came out 2003.
Yeah,
but
2003.
Then they took it and made it like dark and edgy by like 2011.
The Dark Knight was 2008. I think this next movie was 2001.
I'll look up a list of top movies from 2014.
Matrix. The Matrix was 1999, which I think that was right around the same time that the first movie we watched came out.
Oh, yeah. Tenenbaums. Yeah.
Yeah, Tenenbaums. So it's like compared to when these other movies were coming out.
The Hobbit was coming out around this time. Mm-hmm. Not Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit was, and then all the Marvel movies were starting to like pick up as well.
I was just thinking of the whole width of the movies that we watched, from Tenenbaums to Hotel, and yeah, it feels like a lot of movies just like, even though they have their own strengths, like I feel Wes Anderson, yeah, even though it's just like the plot is like light, airy, doesn't seem super important to the whole thing, but it's, yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of intention in all his movies for how they look.
Like him coordinating with a director of photography, that's probably the strongest relationship he has, where he's like, you know, doing a lot of that coordination.
And even costuming and set design. Now, I do want to say, like, I don't, like, as someone who is in the process of writing and has done a ton of, not to the same extent, but like has done short films to even, like, you would even probably be relate to this as well, being a DM or co-DMing for a TTRPG game where you got to like put together story elements and stuff and make sure that all the characters at different points are, like, all the players are,
have their beats. Yeah.
Like the fact that he made a movie is nothing to, like, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, he's just hating on Wes Anderson because the story is not great. And it's like, no, I know how hard it is to make a story, and
it's just I think, unfortunately, we've sandwiched him between two directors that have storytelling styles that are like very much within how we like to consume stories. Mm-hmm. Even like, so yeah, Kurosawa has a very like, we can tell what his beliefs are, and he carries them throughout his movies, and he doesn't shy away from them. Like his views on like life, honor, relationships between different people, and like the struggles of post-war society, all very clear in all of his movies, and he's not shy about it. Taika Waititi, in his movies, there's a lot of discussions about like not fitting in, being outcast to society, and trying to like grow up and figure out who you're gonna be. Very clear throughout all of his stories. Mm-hmm. Wilson Yip, his first two movies were very clearly, distinctly about the experience of living in like occupied or post-occupied countries. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like all of those have like stories that are very compelling and interesting and are told in a way that are like, I have these strong beliefs and I'm going to carry it throughout my art. And then Guillermo del Toro, again, I haven't watched some of the I actually have only watched one of the movies we have listed for him right now. But I remember Pan's Labyrinth has a lot of like folklore to it and mystery and fantasy, and I think I remember really liking it. Talks about imagination from a young person in a like interesting way. Mm-hmm. Whereas, yeah, we've sandwiched Wes Anderson in between, where we're like, these are really pretty, but when we watch movies, we like that extra little bit of substance.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, not to be haters, we work for Moonrise Kingdom because
I'm not apologizing for Moonrise Kingdom.
But as far as like him as a whole as a director, I think we both said we understand why he's beloved. He's just not our cup of tea.
Yep. And that's all right. If it isn't, you need to grow up. So anyway, the last question is, how likely would you recommend this movie to others?
I would recommend this movie to people. I think it's, like you said, it's short, zippy, easy to like step into, and it's paced in a way that's there's no downtime in this movie. So I can see a lot of people having moments that they'll take away from it and really enjoy.
Yeah, I would agree. Even though the plot, I was like, I think out of all these movies that we watched, I think I would be down to watch Grand Budapest Hotel again. And there's probably some things in there that I'm like, I just miss, like detail wise in the set pieces.
It's a really fast-paced movie, so
I feel like all his movies are pretty fast-paced.
yeah, I feel like Royal Tenenbaums wasn't that fast. It's speedy, but it wasn't that fast. Moonrise Kingdom, at points, I know it's a short movie, but man, some of the parts I was just like, can we move on?
Yeah. With Moonrise Kingdom, yeah, it would have been nice to be like, okay, why do we have to spend so much time in these chunks?
Yeah, but Fantastic Mr. Fox and Grand Budapest, I think, are paced about the same. And they're both very, hey, this is this guy. This is his past. Let's go. And we're like, oh, okay, we're going.
I feel like Grand Budapest Hotel, for me personally, could have had, like, maybe, like, another 20 minutes or something just to be, like, I don't know, less zip, more, like, diving into, rather than have, like, an inch thick layer, or like, rather than being just it feels like a lot of the characters we only scratch the surface of, and where it'd be like, okay, I feel like the character that we see the most about, which makes sense, is Gustav,
because it's told in the perspective is someone who looks up to Gustav.
Was his protege. If I use the right word, I can't remember. Anyway, we're getting into this, but I hear it toot toot magoots. It's time for Spoiler Town. Woo!
Turn back now if you'd rather watch the movie before we end up discussing it. If you do have to turn back, just a reminder that next month is Guillermo del Toro movies, starting with Pan's Labyrinth. So if you have to leave, we'll see you there.
All right, 3, 2. You know what I should get? I should get one of those like wooden whistles. Toot, toot. It's Prime week. Let me find out. Anyway, that's it. 3, 2, 1, and we're taking off.
Turn back now. In any case, yeah. So was that intentional?
I tried to, and I hit my table.
Yeah, for audio listeners, I just looked up and see D-Payne's camera shaking and him like rearranging himself. I was like, the thunder got him.
Not today.
Not this time. But yeah, like, I could see wanting an extra 20 minutes to really help flesh out some of the things. Like, the thing that I didn't want to spoil is I thought it was so disappointing that we have a moment in time where they're building up the love story. And I did buy into this love story more than Moonrise Kingdom, even though it felt like we spent less time with them as a couple. I was like, I can understand them as a couple. They make more sense to me as a couple. And then he goes, and then we got married, and then she died, and my son died. The end. I was like, this poor girl. She got you out of prison, or got your man out of prison by baking and doing all this and pulling herself up from, like, nothing. And then you just go, and she basically caught the Spanish flu. The end. Because he says, what, now we have the cure for, or now you can be cured in a week from it.
Yeah.
So my guess was, like, the flu or something like that.
It was cooties. Yeah, it's I guess I'm just glad that it wasn't like, because the way it was just like they kind of hint at it where still talking about, I forgot her name, Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is still like, even in his like older years, is still like something that he doesn't like to talk about. It's still a sensitive subject where he's and it, from the sounds of it, he never like pursued anybody else, and he doesn't Zero doesn't live the life that Gustav had.
Yeah,
uh
he's purposely choosing to sleep in the servants' quarters that he like stayed in his entire time, even though he is the proprietor of the property.
so um and so like it kind of hints at it earlier where almost it feels like, oh, here's Agatha. It's like, there's Agatha, but I'm not ready to talk about her yet. And it's like it hints that there's tragedy coming. I'm just glad it wasn't from stinking guy ripped out of a cartoon villain esque.
William Dafoe's character.
Yeah, I'm glad it was him, and not him and Adrian Brody. Just like, I'm like, these guys are literal cartoons.
Yeah, they don't feel like real villains. It was hard for me to it was hard for me to be scared of them because especially like I appreciate the museum scene because I thought it had really cool shots and I thought it built up the tension in a pretty different way compared to some of the other movies we watched by Anderson. And then the end is just like beep bop boop. I was like, that's poor Jeff Goldblum. You know?
Yes. Yeah, I was like, man, I didn't realize fingers came off so easily.
Yeah, how heavy is that door? And then I know that you tried to send me the warning about the cat death, and like William Dafoe's character, when he did that, I just went, and why? But we already know you're evil. Like, for what reason?
It was like the most telegraphed animal death in all his movies, I feel like.
Yeah. And then
it's like, here's this literal evil man that's
holding
a cat. And then it's just like Jeff Goldblum doesn't even, it's like, did you just throw my cat out? And he looks out and he's just like, what the? And then
yeah, he has to take it in baggage claim too. And I was just like, this is so like nonchalant. I don't know how to feel about this. Like I couldn't even be mad. Like in other movies, like I'm uncomfortable by animal death, usually if it's on screen. But this one, it was just like, and why did you have to put this in? Like Jojo Rabbit, I understood why there was the scene there because it's a whole allegory about the softness of the main character. And you did warn me about it, so I could look away. But then, like, even though I didn't want to look at it, I was like, it makes sense. But the cat? What are the...
Yeah. It's like, and there's not even like... I feel like this is the weakness of this movie, because everything moves so fast. It's really hard to have any emotional connection to any of the characters.
Yeah,
and then the ones that we see, they're like, I don't have emotional connections with them just because of how they're presented.
Mm-hmm. And then I think along with that, maybe that's why the cat scene's in there, because everything's so fast paced that you needed like, he was like, what's a really quick way to make you hate this guy? It's like, I already hated him. You didn't need to like put the cherry on top. Like, it's okay. So
like,
yeah,
he looks like he came out of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Like,
and then he like chases people on motorcycles the whole movie. Like he's clearly like nefarious. And then the whole like, the only thing that I thought was a very fun twist, you kind of mentioned it earlier, where you were worried that Agatha was gonna get got by the big baddies. I did think it was a cool presentation and kind of subverting my expectations, where they do the whole Agatha's anxious because she hears noises on her roof, and then they go, oh, this woman has this basket and they found her head in it, and they go, bring me the basket, and they open it and it's not Agatha. I was like, that was really cool. Like I said, there's things in this movie that are really fun and very entertaining. So it was just, but the thing that I could not suspend my disbelief for, even for a second, was the confessional booth. Because there was this whole string of a bunch of people that were like, you're only allowed to be here because we recognize who you are, and we have a really interconnected network of, like, priests. And we've all talked about this and coordinated this massive effort. And yet the big bad evil guy can just walk into a confessional booth and walk out with a... How many priests were in there? Every pew was filled.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, peace. I was like, he went through 5 other guys going, you are the guy that's allowed to go to the confessional booth. I did laugh when he sits down and the guy goes, confession. He goes, I didn't do it. He's like, no, the booth.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, okay. I did. That was a fun scene. I also like how Zero sits next to Gustav, forcing the one priest out. And he's like, what the heck? He gets like all offended.
You were only supposed to be one guy. Why are there 2?
And he gets like all offended because he has to go walk across the aisle to sit next to this other person. But yeah, it's...
I could not buy that he was able to sneak in and kill him in the confessional booth, and not a single other priest could get up in time to be like, hey, who are you? Why are you covered in blood? The guy fell out of the booth dead. You're the only person standing up. Like, again, I know it's, like you said, like, the plot is more like just to keep things moving for the pretty shots and the chase scenes. But, man.
I didn't even think the chase scene was all that fun. Like, I was taken out so much when they were just like, okay, let's go on the sled. And then it was just like, I'm like, I feel like this
is a different movie.
I feel like I'm watching almost that Christmas train, the Polar Express.
I could see that. I was getting the feelings of, if you haven't gone through this series with us, we have watched a lot of the claymation Christmas movies, like the classics.
Rankin Bass.
Yeah, Rankin Bass movies. It reminded me of the
that too.
Damnable blah 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 Snowman. Like
the Bumble. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Because of the way, just like
pouts.
just like the speed of things and how they just kept going, and that was like, it's funny you said 20 more minutes, but what if it was like, what if 10 more of those minutes were for that scene? Because that is the longest sequence and scene in the whole movie.
Yeah. It's like, that's the risk. Like, it's either we get story or we get more of that.
And like, it was fun for 5 minutes. And then I was like, it's got to be over. And they're like, what if we mess up with the Olympics? I was like, it's got to be over. What if we go through a town? I was like, it's got to be over. It's got to end at some point.
I have a fun head theory.
Okay, a headcanon?
Yeah, I was like, I can't remember the words. That Willem Dafoe's character, J.G. Joplin, is also William Dafoe's character in The Lighthouse. he did such a bad job, they locked him up there.
Well, the only reason I would agree, I wish I could agree, but the only reason I have to disagree is because it's Robert Pattinson's character that's killed a man. If William Dafoe's character had killed a man in The Lighthouse, I'd be like, I love that theory, but I
couldn't remember. Like, I remember I don't remember why he was up there for so long.
Well, that's just his station. Yeah. And then they got trapped there.
He could have killed somebody.
He could have, but he gets mad at Robert Pattinson's character because he's like, I know you're hiding a secret, and I'm stuck here with a murderer.
What if when he fell off the mountain, when he was pushed off, he didn't die, but he lost his memory? No, he lost his memory and then ended up on a boat and then ended up at the lighthouse.
That would be funny. But, yeah. It is also funny that you mentioned Jeff Goldblum's the only character with any moral standing. Because he's literally just there. He's like, I don't work for you. You can't pay me off. I work for the dead lady.
And I'm like, and now you're going to be the dead man.
And I do think for as short as his screen time was, he was probably the least two-dimensional character in the whole movie, which is like weird because Gustav is almost in every scene, but he kind of just, I don't know, he just has, it's kind of like in Moonrise Kingdom where like, oh, Bruce Willis is sad cop. I think Gustav is like, oh, he's sad and likes old women.
Sad and horny.
Only for.
Only
older.
for a certain... He lets us know very early on in the movie.
His type. I do like how Zero's like, don't hit on her.
Mm-hmm.
But
Just
even I know...
Stop flirting with her.
But I know Zero's anxious, but technically Agatha does not fit the type that Gustav likes.
What was it? Are you flirting with her? Is he flirting with you? He is. Stop that. I approve. I did enjoy Gustav's and Zero's interactions. I thought that was I thought it was, for the most part, was good, like was fun, and like just because it's like at first, like when we first meet Zero and Gustav's like, hey, I'm here to interview you, and like we see how he pretty much runs the whole hotel. Mm-hmm. And he's just like 0, 0, 0, and then he's just like looks at him and he's just like, why would you want to be here? And he's just like, why wouldn't you want to come to the best hotel? No. And he's just like, and that is an excellent and like that's all he had to say. And he's
that's all he wanted.
It's like, you're coming with me.
I did like how there's very subtle hints at the like how strongly attached they get. Mm-hmm. Like there's not a lot of moments between them that doesn't feel like just training. But I did like later on where there's like the new guy working the lobby and Zero's like, you're doing it wrong. And then when Agatha and Zero are like reciting poetry to Gustav, and Gustav is like, you can tell he actually cares about them as more than just like employees. Mm-hmm. So those moments I thought were very cute. Again, would be nice to have another little extra bit of minutes to kind of, like, I know they tell us what happens to Gustav, but like they also don't really tell us what happens to Gustav. You know, like there's the one liner that's like, and that day on the train is the last day he argued with somebody. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really do anything like, did you have a funeral service? Were you able to get him back? Is he like gone forever on that side of the border?
Yeah.
But
it's
war things.
Yeah. There was also something else, like another interaction that I really liked between them was when he helps them escape from the prison, and it's just like Zero's like, oh, okay, here we go, and he's just, the last straw was like, oh, he's like, do you have a safe house? No. Do you have things? He's like, did you bring the perfume? He's like, no, I'm sorry. And then it's just like starts breaking down. He's just like, what? And then pretty much is like goes off on like all these stereotypes, like, why did you even come here? It's like, the war. It's like, and like pretty much Zero tells him like, hey, I literally lost my whole family and my home due to the war, so I came here in hope for a better life. And he's like, oh, so you're a refugee? Yes. Oh, okay, well, I feel terrible. And it's just like instant.
That I did appreciate, because I think it's one of those moments, I've said it in the other Wes Anderson films, where it feels like he lobbies up a lot of topics that he could go more into, and that was a rare moment where I was like, yeah, this is what I've been waiting for the whole time. Even just like this little bit of a line where you get to see a character who, like, even if he's like, Gustav is not, at this point in the film, he's not very well off yet, but like even though he's not well off, he does have a lot of preconceived notions about Zero and who he quote unquote like should or like could be. And then Zero's like, actually, if you got to know my past, you would realize like I'm doing the best I can. And he's like, oh yeah, you're doing really great based on your circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just like a complete like 180 is just like, and then it's what I also like about that scene, like, and I think what I like of how Gustav is written is that whenever he learns of something like that, where like, for example, of Zero's past or like other things, it's just like there isn't like, oh, well, let me justify my answer. It's like instantly, no, this is the right way. I was wrong. Okay, we're good. Let's move on. And I'm never going to make that mistake again. Where he's just like, no, I'm not. I
own up to what I said, and I realize it's not the best thing that I should have said, so I won't say it again. And sometimes I think a lot of people need to learn that lesson in life too. Because, what was it? In the current time of recording, a friend has been asking me to watch a reality show with them, and a number of contestants have been taken off for saying like slurs. and these same people are going on their social media going, you don't understand, it's different when I say it. It's like, or you could just do what Gustav does and goes, you know what, I shouldn't have said that, won't do it again, and people would move on.
In a world of Dimitri's, be a Gustav.
I know Dimitri is just like, I think Adrian Brody in anything I've seen him in is a bit typecast because of like just like the way his resting face is. It kind of, unfortunately, whether he prefers it or not as an actor, does lend him towards this type of character. I just wish he wasn't just like whiny rich baby, give me everything. Theoretically, if Dimitri didn't keep arguing, he could have walked away with a whole house, a whole hotel, all of this stuff. And, like, all he lost would be one singular painting and all of her riches. But because he pursues this for so long, and the one guy's like, look, there's a missing document, you're all arguing over it, you're upset about this painting, unless I get that document, then, like, you know, we can't, like, settle things out. And then it turns into the whole pursuit. I thought it was so funny when his sisters were, like, so, like, the family is so estranged, that the sister's like, I thought you took that painting down for a reason. And he just starts, like, throwing a tantrum.
Yes. It's like... I also thought it was funny where it's just Zero and Gustav, and they're like, let's just take the paint. Or, like, Gustav's like, I don't know what we can do. And Zero's just like, all right. And he just takes it. And, just takes it. And they're like, what should we do?
Tells the help to wrap it up.
Yep. And then it's like, what should we do? I don't know. And they just put up that other painting, and it's just the two compared. It's like not even the same.
They don't fit. You can see on the wall the discoloration from it being moved.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was fun. Here's a good question. What was your favorite location in this movie? Because I feel like in this one, all the locations kind of, all of them have like this kind of bright, like kind of color.
They do feel like individual characters in this more so. So what we've got the Grand Budapest Hotel itself.
Well, we have current Grand Budapest and in the height of.
Yeah, current Budapest Hotel kind of feels like watching The Shining again.
I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
Yeah, there's it at its peak where it's very lively and like the color tone is different. Clearly, like the current one has, like I said, like that kind of like rough sepia where you can tell it's like sad, and then the peak one is very bright and oversaturated. Then you have like the town in which like you have Agatha, and you have a lot of where like the news and everything is happening. In one sense, you also have the train, because the train and its like its border patrols play significant parts in the film. What else? We have the mountains, your favorite, with a chase scene.
Yeah.
We have the
prison.
The prison, and I guess I forget. Is it a monastery?
Yes.
Did they say specifically?
I think it's implied that it's.
Yeah. I think, is that everything? I missed one. This is more for me to like make sure.
There's the Dimitri, the old lady's house.
Oh, the house.
But we don't really like. We see bits and pieces of it.
We see like her casket, and then where the painting is, right? Oh, in the kitchen.
Oh, and then the casket room. Yeah.
I think my favorite location. It's going to be very hyper specific. I think I really liked the safe where they hid the painting. That particular room. Something about the angles of it and like the big awkward door for the safe, I thought was just a very funny thing to like watch people have to struggle with. And then they do flash back to it a lot, but the way that they even filmed in there makes the room look really big. But I bet it's like a 4x5 room. But the angles in it made it look really big. But
they got the same people who take pictures for apartments to go and set up the shots. Yeah,
they squat they put the camera in the bottom left corner, and then they point it up so it looks very expansive. No, I think I like that room specifically. So I guess my overall answer would be peak Grand Budapest Hotel. What about you? What was your favorite set dressing?
I think I do like the the Peak Budapest hotel. Trying to think, there was my brain is forget. I think I just really enjoyed the scene where we go up the cable car and it's like we kind of get up there as the camera slowly is moving up and we see like almost like a diorama of the whole hotel.
The huge hotel on the mountain all by itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I think I did like seeing the outdoors of that, and then just I think just that lobby it's insane how big it is, and then at the same time, depending on the scene, how small it feels.
Yeah, so kind of what I was saying about the safe room, where you're like, it's realistically not as big as the film makes it out to be, but like, it feels like it goes on forever.
Yeah, because like in the opening scene when Gustav is interviewing Zero, it feels like that lobby is huge, but then at the end of the movie, when the armies are coming in, like
you can see everything in one.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that big at all. And then it's like, then even compared to the current day of the hotel, I'm like, this doesn't even feel like the same like entryway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it feels so cramped when you're looking at the older version of Zero and then the author of the book like making eyes at each other. It feels very like compact. So yeah, no, that is a good point. The lobby, just depending on its like time in history, feels like full of life versus like, oh, I'm here now, I guess. Yeah, and then I would say the other set piece I really liked was the window into the servants' quarters of the rich lady's house. But I think they just did a really fun job of making the back of that area so lively with the two main, I forget the name of the maid, and then Serge, the one that tries to sneak information to them, seeing them argue while Gustav and Zero are just like, what's happening? I don't know. Why are we here? Well, I definitely have to be in the will. Duh. She loved me. Duh. Zero's like, what if we don't get anything? He's like, I mean, I'm here to pay my respects. What do you mean?
Yeah, I thought that was a fun scene where they're like in the lobby and just like, just wait here. And they're like, okay. And then it's just like, Gustav's like I can't sit still more than 30 seconds because he's just like, something's wrong, let's go. And he's going through, and then he's just in the room of the lobby, like where they're doing everything. And that's when, blanking on his name, Jeff Goldblum's character like sees him and he's like, oh, okay, we're all here. And then it's just like, who is getting this painting? And then there's just like, that would be me. And they're like,
who are you?
And then they say that and they all know who he is. At the same
the son is like, you preyed upon my mother. I bet you would, or what was it? I bet you would even go as far as to have slept with her. And he's like,
there's a line they say too where he's just like, it's like, well, if I slept with your mom, it's like pretty much, if I slept with your mom, how can I be gay or something like that?
Oh, he basically uses a slur against them. He's like, well, which one's true? Which one is it? Am I that, or am I sleeping with your mother? And
Dimitri's just like, I hate you. And I think that's when they punch. Oh, that's when he punches Gustav. Gustav punches Dimitri, and then, Zero punches Dimitri, and then Joplin punches Zero, and then Gustav punches Joplin, I think.
Oh, I found it. The quote is, if I learn you ever once laid a finger on my mother's body, living or dead, I swear to God I'll cut your throat, you hear me? And Gustav's like, I thought I was supposed to be, and Dimitri goes, you're bisexual. I don't know if in the time period this movie's supposed to be set, I don't know that they would, like, say that, but you know.
not bisexual. I'm reading books of that time, but
they've got other terms.
Speaking about other scenes, like we got 4 minutes left, so before Spoiler Town is kicking us out. But there's another scene, like a sequence of scenes that I really liked, that I think also goes on a little bit too long. But it's when Gustav calls in. He's like, "You can never talk about this," and he calls in the Society of the Crossed Keys. And I like how it's just everyone after Bill Murray's just like, it shows like the concierge just like, okay, doing this, do this, and then like their bellhop comes up and they're just like, take over. And it's just
passing, yeah, and it gets more extreme, like the person's doing like CPR, the other guy. Yeah,
well, it starts off with like lining up like a flag, and then it goes from testing a soup or something, and then the last one I think is the CPR. I thought there was another one.
There's another one in there that also felt pretty extreme for trying to pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bill Murray made his appearance.
Yeah, so did Owen Wilson.
And so did Owen Wilson.
Yeah, and we don't know what their relationships are like.
Oh, I found another quote that I thought was funny. She was dynamite in the sack, by the way, 0. She was 84. Yeah. He's like, I've had older.
Yeah.
I was like, Gustav.
Yeah. So we draw. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about Gustav is, like, before we started recording, I didn't realize that he was in a movie that is on Prime. I don't think it's anywhere else, called Conclave. But then I was like, why am I recognizing this actor? The guy who plays Gustav, Ralph Fiennes. I don't know if I pronounced the name right. But
I've heard it said before. Yeah, I think it's Fiennes.
Fiennes? But I was scrolling through his IMDb, and he is Chef Slowick in The Menu.
I've still been meaning to watch The Menu.
It is pretty good. It also makes you hungry. So
yeah, I mean, he's in a lot of movies. Like, I'm scrolling through his repertoire. He used to be a rom-com guy, it looks like.
Yeah, so it is interesting, like he's a movie we mentioned before. He's in Cuba and the Two Strings. He does a lot of voice acting. Oh,
he does have a good voice for it.
But yeah, he's Voldemort.
We don't need to talk about those movies.
I don't know anything about those movies. I just was like, oh.
I was just saying, about the author of the book.
I know of the author, but I don't know anything about what she wrote, except
she's a bad person.
Magics. Yeah, so he's in Prince of Egypt. He's Ramses in Prince of Egypt?
But not of recognize. I have also not watched Prince of Egypt a long time.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a long time as well, but I'm like, I don't know which is Ramses. Wow, there's a lot of people in this movie. Yeah, Val Kilmer is Moses. I didn't mute my phone. Sandra Bullock is in this movie. Danny Glover, Jeff Goldblum, Patrick Stewart. Man, there's a lot of people in Prince of Egypt that I didn't realize was in. Michelle Pfeiffer, Steve Martin. Oh, the dad from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, James Avery. A bunch of white people.
For a movie that's not about white people,
it doesn't surprise me of when this movie came out, though. Yeah. 1988. Sorry, I just laughed at the description on IMDb. Egyptian Prince Moses learns of his identity as a Hebrew and is destined to become a chosen deliverer of his people. Anyway, yeah, so there was that. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Is there any other fun quotes that we saw?
Let me go back because I ended up going through. Okay. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of trivia before we send everybody on their way. So let me scroll a little bit.
I'm looking through. This is what you were mentioning while you were looking through trivia. When Zero is reciting poetry, when when they just escape the prison, he's like, "How's our darling Agatha?" And then Zero's like, "'Twas first light when I first saw her face upon the hearth, and hence did I return, day by day, entranced, through vinegar and brine of my heart. Never wait." And then the alarm starts going off, and Gustav's like, "Very good. I'm going to stop you here because the alarm has sounded, but remember where we left off because I insist you finish later." I think everyone needs someone that's encouraging like Gustav.
Yeah. Okay, so I see this. It says, in addition to being one of the rare movies to have actual stories which are connected with a newspaper headline seen on screen, the newspapers shown on screen near the start of this movie reveal much of the plot and ending. So it could be worth rewatching.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, yeah, I remember the newspapers being important because of the way Zero's character acted. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't realize it even reveals the ending.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't watching the newspaper. According to date, this is the highest grossing movie to date of writer, producer, and direct. I don't know why they sort of like of Wes Anderson's career.
When was that quote, Britain? Because this movie came out 11 years ago is why I ask.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me the date.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, none of the quotes are like snippy enough. Like a lot of them are like full conversations between people that I'm not gonna like read all the back and forth for.
Yeah, I'm just going through the trivia. Yeah, the one is just like the double Z symbol is meant to be I'm like, yeah, no, that's
yeah, this is definitely about World War II. We know.
Okay, the ski chase, their James Bond moment, was made using miniature landscapes with animated skiers, which, yeah, that we kind of mentioned that. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. I want spoiler ones. Oh, these are big old paragraphs. Yeah. So, these are big old chunky trivias. So anyway, Grand Budapest Hotel, I feel like it was a good one to end on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what his other ones that came out have been. I know there's Asteroid City.
Asteroid City, French Dispatch. And then there's one other one. The one that also...
Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, there's Isle of Dogs. There's another one that came out like within the last 2 years. Phoenician Scheme?
That just came out today.
Yeah.
Or not today, but came out this year.
Oh, it was this year? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was 2024 or 2025. But, yeah, I don't think he's, like, in this era, like, I think he had a movie almost, like, every 2 years. I think he's kind of slowed down. I'm
looking at on Wikipedia. Let's see. So, we watched... Royal Tenenbaums was 2001. His first movie, Bottle Rocket, came out in 96. Rushmore came out in 98. Tenenbaums came out in 01. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou came out in 04. The Darjeeling Limited came out in 07. Fantastic Mr. Fox came out in 09. Moonrise Kingdom 12. That's weird. They were 12 years old. Anyway, Grand Budapest Hotel came out in 14. Isle of Dogs came out in 18. French Dispatch came out in 2021. Asteroid City 23. A Netflix movie called The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Three More came out in 2024. Which that's a American fantasy anthology. And then The Phoenician Scheme, which I've been seeing trailers for. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch any of them. I don't know. I think Isle of Dogs I might, because I did enjoy Fantastic Mr. Fox. But yeah, it would be interesting to see, I guess, literal movies that came out close to 5-10 years after Grand Budapest Hotel to see if he's changed, if anything's changed in his writing style.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not this year.
Yeah, we're pretty booked for movies. So
Yeah.
that concludes another Director's Month. So we're doing it. We are well past the halfway mark now, going into August for Guillermo del Toro, kicking it off with Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to let the people know before we say see you next week?
Well, I guess you guys will learn probably in 4 weeks what the Charity Palooza thing has gone out to, because I think when this episode comes out, it will be the week after the Charity Palooza event. But yeah, you guys might get a bonus episode. So we'll see. More to come out when that actually happens for you guys. It'll probably be in August. But
yeah, we're recording a lot ahead of time based on schedules. So
we would have hyped it up a little bit more, but life has been busy for both of us. Any poops, that is it. I hope y'all have a good whatevers, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.